Okay, we're rolling. It is June the 14th here. Yeah, kind of a famous picture getting here. This about the Swiss India air flight. And this guy's got something. What everyone gets wrong about Air Indian Flight 171 crash. Swiss 001. Guys, mugshot. We'll roll it here a little bit. They're rolling down the runway. We're rolling.
In India, the first ever 787 crash and the first full wide-body crash for over 10 years. We see
Wide body
787
crash.
take off from Ahmedabad's runway 23, taking off on its way to London.
Get some more
Gatwick,
volume here,
a
maybe I
9-hour
can.
flight with 242 souls
Okay.
on board. But the flight would only last 30 seconds. The plane departures reaches a few hundred of feet until it loses
Nobody
altitude
says how heavy this plane was either.
into a hostel.
I notice people are putting their toe. They had it on YouTube. Put your toe under your luggage. Haha. Not a good idea. Save a few bucks. Everybody wants to save a few bucks. Yeah, maintenance and everything. Want to save a few bucks. I think this is part of the problem. Want to save a few bucks. Got some problems with the fuel maybe. We'll save a few bucks. It shouldn't be a problem. Save a few bucks. Don't put some better fuel conditioner in or something. Maybe save a few bucks, huh? Don't want to replace the fuel filter maybe, huh? Nah, it should be okay. Yeah. I just about dove into the ocean one time out of California coming back, Alaskan airline. They just want to save a few bucks on the maintenance on the back, greasing the back rudder thing. Just drove the plane right into the ocean. Yeah, just save a few bucks. It got to be the pilot error, you know? Got to keep our share stock prices up. Okay? It can't be the plane's fault. No. Everybody else's fault.
My biggest interest was in the so-called rammer turbine, which was somewhat noticeable here in
Yeah,
the video.
okay. How come the ram air, the rat? I smell a rat. Blame the pilot right away. I guess that when that rat drops, it could create a bang. The engine flared out, could have created a bang. You didn't see anything coming out of the back of the engines. Okay, I think it is hot weather. Hot weather. The plane needs more power.
Video clip.
Okay.
The rammer turbine is this small propeller that comes out of the 787.
This small propeller comes out. Okay. How come this thing came out? Because the engine stalled out? Oh.
Just behind the landing.
Just another reason to have the old 4-engine 747, huh? Okay. Got more engines? Hey. Can't stop a big Canada Goose from taking out a jet engine? Like in New York? Well, hey. Maybe you should put lasers in front. Bird comes within a certain area, it's toast pieces, you know, before it hits the engine. Can't stop from doing stuff. It comes down to money. Money. Yeah, why? See, they don't want to talk about that.
Gear that doesn't provide power for flying, but it spins and provides electricity to power.
The love of money is the root of all sorts of evil. Hey, got to keep those share prices up. Yeah, I guess Boeing's stock prices are going down a little bit again. Yeah.
The electronics, of course.
Trucking companies and everything. It's a driver's error, you know, and driver's fault. Well, you shouldn't have got up in the morning.
We can hear a propeller spinning.
Yeah. I see something there. couple things I saw. The dust at the end. Why? Well, because most of the planes already took off. Why is it dusty? Because it needing more of the runway? Because maybe lack of power? How heavy was the plane too? Okay. Was it overloaded? Huh? Well, maybe for that hot weather, maybe conditions it was, huh? I think he's turning a little bit. I don't know if he's trying to get to some water and he hit the top of the building.
Hear it? Very much the same sound. Now,
Yeah, it's the same sound. So this guy's hitting on this aspect here rather than blaming the pilots for some.
The reason why that was such a significant remark for me is that it indicates that both engines are lost. See, this rammer turbine comes out automatically in a dual engine failure, which is why I so confidently said dual engine failure. But the interesting thing is, under my video, there were 5,000 comments that significantly state other opinions and hypotheses, many of which I do not agree to. So now,
lots of opinions. Opinions are a dime a dozen, right? What do we know? Well, we know the ram air came out. Why does the ram air come out? Do they lose hydraulic power? Probably. That's why the wheels didn't retract. Landing gear didn't go up. Okay. Combination problems here. Combination of problems. I don't know. I was trying to find out. Was he heading to water? Trying to land on some water? Maybe that's why he was turning a little bit. Maybe something like the famous Hudson River, Sully landing in the Hudson River.
And I want to give a clear
I don't see any birds or anything.
So let's talk about the things expressed under my videos. Number one, pilots forgot about flaps. I think one of them.
That's totally bogus. He covers about it a little bit here.
Flaps setting of this plane. It's true. For nearly every aircraft, you want the flaps to be out somewhat in order to help your plane gain lift sooner. Before takeoff, you decide which flaps configuration is supposed to be set. For example, 5 degrees. See, before takeoff, you do the performance calculations, of course. Here, we select flaps 5.
Now, the calculations is based on what? The weight of the plane? And maybe the temperature? Okay. And maybe they should have had more. Okay.
Select the airport, select the runway, and especially enter the
but
weather.
they should have had more because they didn't have as much engine power.
That people are expressing is that the plane took off without any flaps at all. And I kind of get that point. In most camera angles, the flaps don't really seem to be down much at all. We see very flat wings, and I kind of understand the idea. Something you can definitely tell about this crash already is that the plane used literally almost the whole runway.
All of the runway.
It was very obvious that the
and it's a long runway. It's not a short runway.
I don't think the idea that the pilots took off without flaps is plausible at all. I mean, here we are in the same configuration as the airplane. 242 souls on board, lots of fuel on board, and we're going to take off with flaps 0. Do you hear this? This plane doesn't like it. Yes, in most modern airlines,
beep, beep.
Takeoff configure warning. Even if the pilots were to neglect the checklist, forget about the flaps, the plane would really warn you about this. Now, yes, of course, it could be that this alarm could be broken and you wouldn't be able to hear the airplane complain about flaps 0. But once again, not very plausible at all. But rather, the reason why the plane used the entire runway for takeoff is because of weather. See, here we're taking off, and this plane is not liking taking off at all. Why? Because the weather isn't very flying friendly at all.
There is a major factor right there. I believe that is a major factor. And the weight of the plane. And if the engines weren't up to par. Okay? So you got a combination factor. A lot, like a lot of things is not one sole single factor. The plane that crashed in San Diego, the altimeter reading from the weather tower wasn't working. Okay. Nobody told them about the transmission line. I actually found it out from my stepson, my wife's. There. Oh, she got my foot in there. Okay. Where's the camera here? There's my wife and grandson. I should move those pictures over more, huh? Okay. They're down in San Diego. I knew about the crash. And hey, National Transportation Safety Board. Wow. The numbers are actually less under Trump than Biden. But why all the national reports on every little... It's a two-seater passenger plane, but it's national news. Do you report every two private... Hey, if it's a police vehicle, that's national news. We got to have a national coverage. A truck driver? Oh, wow. Minor detail. Railway? Oh, that's an industrial accident. We don't want to report everything, you know. They pick and choose what they want to report, you know. And they want to... Lots of politics involved with this. Be sure there's lots of politics involved with this, too. Okay?
Degrees Celsius.
Air India, is it the government-run airline? Well, wouldn't want to say that they were doing faulty maintenance now, would there? No politics involved with this stuff. Boeing shares? Oh,
Also, we've got very, very low air pressure, 1,000 millibars. This is what we're simulating here as well. With very low air pressure, very high temperature, and that is poison for flying because there is just not a lot of air.
There you go. I kind of knew that. So this guy works off the simulator, so... I used to go back on one here, show a simulator. He has a square plane. He kind of jokes around about this.
This airplane, we've made it unflyable once again. Now, I think most airliners are definitely beautiful, but one problem is that they all kind of look the same. I mean, obviously, we have the wing, the vertical.
Well, because engineers tend to copy one another. Okay? It's their comfort zone. My stepson ribbed me at his own wedding. His new father-in-law had to clue him in that he's an electrical engineer. He doesn't know the integration of the chemical and mechanical. Why do most planes look much the same? It's a comfort zone. Like, sure, that works. We'll do that again. Can they not make planes safer? Oh, yeah, they can. How come they don't deploy some big, massive parachutes? Oh, that would cost money, you know. You can't haul as much cargo then, or passengers. It comes down to the love of money. We can make these things safer.
Especially the fuselage that looks very similar among all aircraft.
He kind of stresses the point here when he makes this.
Look at that roundedness. The Airbuses, I think, are even more rounded, to the point where a rookie won't even be able to tell a Boeing or an Airbus apart. Yes, sir, buddy. And in today's video, it's time to change that roundness. You know, roundness definitely makes sense for a plane like this because of aerodynamics. I mean, not only the fuselage is round, but also the engines, of course. They're also round. That makes sense because they have blades that have to spin. And, well, you know, just look at what a water droplet looks like. That one is never round.
I think he's getting to the point here is...
water droplet? Obviously not. This wouldn't be formed by air. And let's go ahead and take off, which, as you can see, works fine on the 737. But everybody, it's about time, yes, that we change things around a little bit. Let's go ahead and make the least aerodynamic airplane. Yes, everybody, behold
there
my
we go.
genius. Look at this. The Boeing 737 MAX.
Okay, what he's getting to the point here is, sure, it works. But what if we had something to assist that plane so it wouldn't have crashed like that? Okay? See, they do not want to address this issue. Okay? A gyrocopter has free rotation. The helicopters eventually, I guess, they can immediately switch off the gearbox or whatever. Why? You want rotation at the top. They know how to make these things. It comes down to dollars. No, that would cost money. Okay.
A truly a work of art. It is very much a box plane. Something that was...
See, so we'll go back to the other one. The point I'm making is we can make things safer.
48 hours since Air India flight
Oh, so sorry.
crashed.
Are they really sorry? Do they really want to do better? The railway, steel wheels on steel rail, and they call that emergency braking. Apparently, Japan stops their high-speed train very quickly. How? How do we stop? They use magnetics, by the way. But how would you stop an aircraft landing on a aircraft carrier? It's called the cable tether thing. They get it stopped very quickly. Okay? Can we not get these planes off the ground faster? Yeah. They use it with big drones now, and we know how to do stuff. It comes down to money and the love of money. Oh, we don't need it all the time. Well, it sure would be nice to have something now on this plane, wouldn't it? When it crashes. Tell the people to die, their families, that, oh, it's too much money. See, we're all, and most of us don't care. It's not my problem. Right here in Calgary, Alberta, where we are, again, I encountered this situation. The traffic enforcement people, the parking attendants, don't have access to stolen vehicles. Okay? Well, when they put multiple tickets on a vehicle and the guy has to go and find his own vehicle because he got the ticket in mail, where was the police? Why aren't the police notified? And they could go there and maybe do a little homework and watch, sit there for a while, have their coffee in their vehicle instead of just sleeping behind the camera. That's another whole issue. Doing personal work on the computer or sleeping because they're doing other personal business half the time. Yeah. But, like, go sit there and catch the people that are using the vehicle. Maybe it's used for other crimes. But no. And I talked to the enforcement ticket people. Well, that's not their job. Well, I hope the postal man, when he puts in the mail at the local big box now, not every person gets delivery right to their house anymore even. I hope that when he sees a house burning down or something on some fire somewhere, he calls the fire department. He could say, well, it's not my job description to call. I put the mail in. I didn't need to waste time reporting some fire. What? It's not my job description, really. Because the love waxes cold. See, I get into the theology of this. The love waxes cold. My wife, she's gone to her Hebrew function. Yeah, 7 candles on the menorah. Where are we at in history? Okay. But no. What do they teach? Oh, she got a little snitty again this morning. I said they major on the Torah and minor on the majors, the New Testament. Yeah, they do. She came back in, well, the Torah is the book of Moses. Yeah, I know that. Okay. And what about Daniel? They even put it in a different section. Do you want to look at it? Here, let's look at it. We're going to do this. Okay. Here we go. Get some more light on this. Where's the book of Daniel here? Where's the book of Daniel? Because my camera's kind of foggy here. Should fix it or something. I don't know. The book of Daniel. It's done with Esther. She didn't want to admit that either. Okay? Yeah, see, what she did is she got out of the one boat into another boat. All kinds of people being baptized in the U.S. Good, get in the water. Because that's the Holy Spirit power that came on Jesus. Okay? How come this Daniel book is not in with Ezekiel and Jeremiah, the prophets? Huh? You want to look what Matthew 24 says in this one? Instead of iniquity? Oh, guy says, he grew up in Canada even. I don't know what it means. Well, get the dictionary, look it up. I checked out Google what they say. Okay? Doing things knowingly, willfully, transgression, his written word. Okay? What did he say? Blessed are those that have not seen, but have read. Wax cold. Oh, we'll just take that little word out, so it just grows cold. Really? And so then we teach over here that it's a dietary thing, the abomination and desolation. Really? Does a dietary thing cause love to wax cold? No, it doesn't. The love of money, covetousness, financial teaching does. How come this plane crashed? Huh? Don't tell me they couldn't have something on top there to deploy when he's coming down. Yeah. See? Gets into this stuff. But no, we wouldn't want to do that. Okay? Oh, this doesn't even have, pardon me, this doesn't even have Matthew in it. That's just the Torah. The Old Testament has Canaanite stuff. On and on and on. They don't want to teach this one. Matthew 27, the graves are opened. Why? Why don't they want to teach that? Okay? Well, they just kind of slide over these things. Well, look for some reason. Well, Matthew must have been exaggerating, And the graves, they came out of these top graves, and they rolled out onto the ground and rolled up the hill into the city. Really? Why do you think the centurion was so startled? He could be court-martialed for what he said. Okay? It's like, come on. Matthew is, he healed the child with blind eyes, born blind at sight. That was a major sign, just like giving the drink to him on the cross. This is all foretold. Matthew covers it more than the other ones, but this is confirmed. 1 Thessalonians 4:14. Most people don't want to read it. They listen to these gurus with some diploma. Where is it? In psychology. Wait, what's this even at? Okay. I can kind of maybe understand a little bit that this is at the Sunday groups. There's no teaching in here about Hanukkah. Why is it at a Messianic congregation? Constantly. Well, gee. The two young ladies, went to school for psychology. It's a mandatory class in your Adventist school now, Mr. Adventist, on your 7th day Saturday. Are you really a Sabbath keeper? Passover is a high annual Sabbath. I could go down there today and get kicked out again. I haven't got kicked out of the local one here with the mostly Filipinos there. The last time, a couple weeks ago, I was there teaching on John 3:16. Just focus on Jesus. That was on some of the YouTube stuff. Don't get into the controversial stuff. So what do they move this young guy from place to place, congregation, teaching on John 3:16? Well, let's read it. Weird. Maybe some people don't actually know what it says. Okay? For God so loved the world. Okay? True love. That he gave. You willing to... You really love your wife? Are you willing to die for her? But the point is, does she have any respect for you? See, they get this all mixed up. The guy in San Diego says, well, it's supposed to love everybody. Love your enemies doesn't mean you agree with them, and doesn't mean you do what they're doing or sleep with them. Come on. We have to have some discernment here, you know. Whosoever believeth should not perish. Notice it does not say will not. So just because you believe, the devil and his angels believe, but they're not following. Just because you believe does not, should not. It's conditional. In us abiding. The Holy Spirit wants to give us the power. That's baptism again. But the guy talked about Holy Spirit power, but he didn't want to rebaptize me. A couple weeks ago out at the lake here, I dunked myself. Guy from Lethbridge didn't want to do it. Kind of ribbed me for not being a pastor by now. I said, you know, we're not all called to be pastors. Where's the parking space for the evangelists anymore? On their website, it's vacant. They don't want them here. Why? Because we ruffle their feathers. Iron sharpeneth iron, but they don't want to be sharpened. They got a diploma. The guy doesn't want to read Zechariah 5, the missiles. We're going to cover John 3:13. Here's teaching. And no man gone to heaven but he that came down from heaven. So Elijah didn't go to the third heaven. Really? Is that what he's really saying? It's in context with talking to Nicodemus about spiritual things. Born again. This is what the standard priests see being taught. The spiritual growth there. But hey, you listen to him once in a while, but he's American pre-trib. How many? The guy in Hamilton, Ontario. No, go back to this again. Maybe you saw me do this before. Gray socks, hard to see. Had some white on it. Yeah, 2 feet. Try to fit 2 feet into one shoe. This is what we're trying to do with this stuff too. Oh, we're going to find out. Really. Find out what? How much of a cover-up is on this stuff. We'll maybe find out the truth. Maybe not. How much is covered up? Okay. Don't tell me you can't make these planes safer. That's totally bogus. Okay? It's like we haven't done much with railway braking since George Westinghouse air brake. And they bucked that too. They thought they didn't need to. Now they got 2-mile long trains because they know how to do some of this stuff. But were the center engines and the back engines remotely controlled with the runaway in DeField, BC? Where's the wheel chokes on top of the hill in Quebec? Oh, maybe the federal government railway authority should stop overreaching. The municipalities and provinces are responsible for the speed limit and enforcements, not the federal government. Stop your overreaching. CBC. We nicknamed it Communist Broadcasting years ago. And the last war in Canada was not 1812 in Quebec. They hung Louis Riel from Montana and Regina, Saskatchewan, 1880. Okay? Like, I dig around. People say, why are you concerned? Well, with the railway. Maybe my 3 grandkids in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan would like to see their dad come back alive alone. being forced to take a 2-mile-long train out with no conductor on. What? Can't we use a drone for forwards around the curve, see what's around the curve? Yeah, we probably could. Give the conductor something to do. We could probably check out the track at the same time with a little cart. They used to go down ahead of the train with what they call the little jigger hand pump. And then they had a little putt engine. Putt before they even send the freight train down the track. Not anymore. Not anymore. We got high-tech stuff now. Really? High-tech for your office? So you can micromanage everybody? Tell the truck driver to get out and get at it? What, drive on an icy highway when the sun could come out and thaw it off? I beat the guy to Calgary, Alberta. Okay? From the BC Sparwood Mines, where, by the way, CP and CN, not CN, CPKC is testing out robotic trains. People are paranoid about that. I talked to a trucking company the other day. I used to work for them about 6 or 7 years ago when we went down to Oregon to see the solar eclipse come across. Okay, I was still working for the company. So that's about 7 years ago. April 8th. Okay, so that's a year or so ago. 2024, 7 years before the other solar eclipse, formed a capital A over all of North America. While Omega was showing up in the Euphrates River, seen by a drone. Really? At the same time. This is the times we live in. Huh? Okay. Yeah. Put this over here. It fell down the other day. I thought it would stay up, but no. It fell down. Taped it up. Feast of Trumpets, September 23rd. It's about 100 days. 100 days from now. Yeah. A couple years ago, people were saying, I said, no. Solar eclipse comes first. He said he put signs in the heavens. His calendar. His timing. Our calendars are not accurate. Okay? Hebrew calendar? When it said the king reigned 40 years in his 40th year. Could mean 40 years and 11 months. It's not accurate. The Gregorian calendar goes from his birth, Greek birth. Hanukkah is conception. Okay? But he filled the second Adam at his death and resurrection. One guy says, well, it sounds like Mormon. Well, I can't help it. They got an odd thing wrong. You know, that's what these groups do. There's my phone number, by the way. And my wife's got it under my name yet. Okay? I saw one YouTube here. He listed it under what? This guy goes under Swiss. Well, maybe he's from Switzerland, I guess. Okay? By the way, Switzerland is landlocked. I think they got more so than Alberta, Canada. They only got about the same population. Nothing said about the problem with that. Oh, yeah. Lots of politics. Got the G7 summit coming up outside of Calgary, Alberta here in a resort area, Kananaskis. They got all the roads blocked off, But they got a known felon coming. Listed twice in the paper. How many Americans hide their income? IRS is, I guess, got some teeth in it. Canada's audited the one guy. My dad says, I wonder where the money came for to buy the bar. Have a 200 cow herd, you're only reporting 100 calves sold? Like, you're having a 50% loss? Really? But how many Americans funnel the money through the Canadian casinos. We nicknamed it Honcouver. Australian banker confirmed it to me. That's why I met my wife in Hong Kong. Okay. Should move this picture over there. There. Okay. Met her in Hong Kong. She was working for an Australian banker looking after their 4 kids. She got her sister over because they had the 4th kid. Okay. She's in the UK now. My wife doesn't like her Jamaican brother-in-law. Like, get over it. You're not the one that married him. But on and on. The Australian banker? How did he get the job? I later on found out his grandfather had castle in England. He's practically royal family. He confirmed it to me. The Canadian banks and the government knew it was illegal money coming in. They should have been sent back to British colony yet then, before China took them over extra early. Come on. But no. Canada government and the banks just looked the other way. They don't care where they get them. They let creditors owing all kinds of money in Hong Kong funneled it through the casinos, showing that they won money. No, they lost a big portion of it, maybe even. Okay? The Americans have been doing this since Al Capone. They put him in Alcatraz, the Rock, for tax evasion. This is nothing new in America. Like tax evasion. Now the Trump vice president could pardon them. So what are they going to do? But no, it's twice in Canada. Yet every little dictator can be in UN. Yeah. Every little dictator country. Switzerland only has a population of the province of Canada. California has as much population as all of Canada. Nigeria is 5 times the population of Canada. But they only have 1 vote in UN. Like, as far as I'm concerned, close it down. But the air safety and everything. Where was the tugboats? And I had it confirmed. Oh, why? Do we actually, when we ask, believing, and do some fasting about it? I meet a ship captain in Calgary, Alberta. There's not a lot of big ships here. It's little pleasure boats to go on the lake. Okay, we got more horses in Alberta than when they use the horses for working. My dad used to call that a riding pony. Hey, we had this on. Big famous Calgary Stampede coming up here in Calgary, Alberta. Do a little promotion for that. People will put on their cowboy boots and their cowboy hat. Yep, I'm a cowboy. I wonder how many of them even know how to saddle a horse. Okay? But we give them the diploma. Yeah. And what do we do? Okay? We follow gurus. What happened to Air India? Okay, I can spend all day, and sometimes let's go here. Air India. Who's this guy? Let's go see this guy. I don't want to just rap on the one guy.
On Thursday, 12th of June 2025, an Air India Boeing 787 en route to London lost altitude and
gee, I see a little thing comes down, the rat they call it, rotary air whatever. I guess it can come down quite hard and create a bang. Okay, it's spring loaded or something. Okay, that could be the bang when that came down. They lost the engine power. Okay, maybe that's why the hydraulics didn't work to get the landing gear up. Okay, but you know what I see? I just realized that I don't see any deployment of big parachute systems over top to help this plane from crashing as hard into the ground or the top of the buildings it is. Like, no, it's not there. Why? Why is it not there? Because it costs money. We have the technology.
Hello, aviators. How are you today? My name
They
is
could use
Magne Nordahl. I'm an airline captain and instructor.
here.
It's
Air
Friday
instructor.
13th, and less than 24 hours have passed
Okay.
since the tragic accident in India. My thoughts are with the families of those who lost their lives
Oh, yeah, well.
and with those who were injured.
Yeah, but do we learn from these problems? Yeah, no.
Many lives were tragically cut short, and they deserve our respect together what happened on that flight. So I kindly ask every flight,
See, they'll
Air India flight,
if there's not a cover-up. Washington, D.C., they blame the pilot. Yeah, the pilot's dead. You know how many helicopters use that river valley? It's like a freeway for helicopters. And they're maybe keyed the mic so they didn't get the whole information from the tower. And the pilot's being told to trust the tower. A previous flight got reamed out for not trusting the tower. He lifted off, had to circle around. So they're being told to trust the tower. Had a warning going off. Traffic, traffic. Where's the cameras? Do we learn from these mistakes? How many more people? Because we've made the almighty dollar
7-1 was a scheduled
more
service
important.
from Ahmedabad.
Like trucking and everything. Truckers are paranoid about robotic. I told the receptionist in the place, they got my number. I gave the other trucking company, we might make hybrid tow trucks. Rebuild the old one out at Golden, BC, Edson Motors. Okay? Why? The new $750,000 electric logging truck was too much money. Like, you'd have to work the thing 24/6 round the year. It's the seasonal work. All great in theory, but no. See? But no. Sometimes all my wife had to do is tell me when the light turns green. And one time I should have set a timer. I pulled over, I was by myself.
For London.
Good thing I pulled over a little bit. The construction site, they came back and woke me up to see if I was okay. I fell asleep. Hey, I only had not that much further to go to a little town. I would have probably pulled in and had a nap, something to eat, and get up later on and drive some more, like you drive through Chicago in the middle of the night, after midnight. No, you don't. You stop. Not now. Electronic logbook's making it safer, really. No. Robotic? We still have pilots, okay?
The aircraft involved was a Boeing 787.
We learn. We should learn. We should try. We should try to make it safer. No. See, the main mirror on that big truck must not be cracked. Well, that sounds reasonable. Doesn't matter if it's frozen over. Don't have to have a functional heating element. Why don't they have a category point system? Cameras? Don't need it. Why? Hey, I was driving down the highway right under an underpass just north of Calgary, Alberta, Olds, Alberta. They even changed the entranceways and stuff because there was problems there. Hailstones bouncing off my hood. I couldn't even see where I was driving. I was looking at the cameras to drive with other vehicles around me. Like, try to make it safer. I don't see any deployment of what? Gyrocopter type blade off the top? Like, fold them back if you don't need them. Let it go. Self-rotation. So maybe like Sully and Hudson made it to the Hudson River. They survived it. You know, we have life rafts on ships. They should have had more on the Titanic, shouldn't they? Okay. Well, it's unsinkable. Hey, these planes are invincible. Well, obviously not. First one, well, hopefully this is the only one. Is there going to be a cover-up on it? A lot of this stuff gets covered over. Money talks, the rest walk. Why do you think Boeing's concerned about their share prices now? Why do you think the big media is, oh, the pilot, not the plane, it's not the plane's problem. Really? It's so much easier to blame people and the pilots are dead. We got one survivor. Maybe this is why some divine intervention. People wondered, why did the jail cells break open from the earthquake and Peter was freed? Well, maybe because he was willing to get in the water. The preacher guy says, how come his sister was killed on the motorbike when she hit a deer and not the guy in BC? He says, we don't know all the reasons why. Maybe the guy in BC got dunked. We don't know all the details. Sometimes it's for us not to know. But what, because her sister grew up in the same family and attended a church, she should have divine intervention? Well, hey, believe you'll be resurrected in the future. But the preacher says, just believe and you'll never die. Well, I asked him, Lazarus believed, he walked with Jesus, and he died. But he got resurrected again on the fourth day, Mr. Orthodox Jew. The spirit doesn't hover around for 3 days. Okay? But the preacher says, of course Lazarus died again. It doesn't say that. How come he left from Bethany? Yeah, I'm tying this plane crash in. I said to my wife, she didn't seem too concerned. I said, if it was a Filipino, would you be more concerned? Here, we're in Calgary, Alberta. Would we be more concerned if this plane was in Calgary, Alberta, or Mr. American in the U.S.? Would we be more concerned if some of our family was involved? But because it's East Indians, oh well, they got lots of problems. They got lots of people, overpopulation. It's not a, really? There was one Canadian, she was a dentist. I don't know all the history, but I just look at this and people say, why am I concerned? Hey, I fly on these things once in a while too. I went to San Diego on a Boeing. I preferred to have a Airbus, and here stepson bought his mom the ticket to go see the grandkid. Now she has to deal with the daughter-in-law. Ha! What else is new? What did he want to talk to me about? Real estate. He sold this townhouse here. Yeah, maybe it looked okay. I don't know why he left it in a Canadian bank. I really don't. The dollar crashed. Okay, you want to buy in the U.S.? My wife thinks he made such big money. I says he's going to need every bit of the $220,000 to buy in San Diego. Now they haven't bought because they maybe don't even know it. The contracts have all changed on the electrical grid system. Okay, but what's happening in Toronto? The GTA, Greater Toronto Area. Fire insurance causes lots of fires. There's probably a court case on this fire north of Calgary here at the mushroom farm. Just finished a new building and they have a fire. That's kind of interesting. Probably a court case over it. Okay, but people try to get some money and maybe jump out of the country. 4 Italian guys had the concrete plant in Calgary, owned by Bernco now. Where'd they go? Probably back to Italy. They jumped the country. Okay? Yeah. That's what people do. And Greenlanders with kinky hair. I wonder why. We fly around the world. It's not our problem. See? Well, I'd like to believe that we're trying to make it safer. Okay? Does this, like...
On board were 242 people, 230 passengers.
And the people on the ground don't know anything's happening until it hits the building? Well, I don't know. Maybe we should have warning on the bottom of the plane, like, we're coming down. Get your crash helmets on. Duck in some whatever. We're coming down. Not all of a sudden you're hit from the backside. See him coming through the building. Okay. Shocking. Quite shocking. But do we learn? Do we even want to learn? I said to the colony guy the other day, how many chariots? He thought I was the only one. I said, really? How many times did he come before? What are we taught? Only came once as a little babe in the manger. Perry Stone likes that idea. Well, unfortunately, there's no sheep in the high country of Israel in December. There is in September, October, Feast of Tabernacles. Hello, 9 months after Hanukkah. Hello. Well, what do we do? Celebrate Greek birthdays, leaving the mother. Really? The guy's 92 years old. He realized it wasn't so great. Because, yeah, he's involved with protesting about abortions. We just call it a fetus, call it something else. Right? Accountability? Martina McBride. A day of reckoning, a day of accountability. Day of reckoning. Stone rolled away. What was the song really about? And this is coming. April 8th solar eclipse happened. What's coming this fall? Hey, none of us, we're all human. But are we willing to learn? Or we just slough it off? It's not my problem, Mr. Shareholders. It's not my problem. I wasn't on the plane. Well, maybe some of your family were.
And 12 crew members.
It's unfortunate things happen. People say, well, where's God? Hey, he's trying to tell us. Are we listening? Are we learning? We live in a fallen, decayed world. Every 1,000 years, there, I believe, was a catching up. Enoch was in the first 1,000. But what do people want to teach? Oh, no, he just took him to a cave somewhere to die by himself. How foolish. Enoch wasn't afraid. He's not given a spirit of fear and bondage, but a freedom and liberty to choose. How many people were prepared to meet their Maker? No, you don't float off right away. That's Canaanite. But the resurrection of many. Everybody. Yeah. Those that have the ability to learn, teachers shall be held more accountable. We're accountable for what we know and could know. Slough it off and go play golf. Say then you're too busy. Too busy doing what? Having a nice conference on a Caribbean cruise boat. Guy comes back from Ottawa and doesn't want to admit. 10:23. Maybe I'll watch my gurus. My wife is there, maybe playing the guitar. I think she said she put her fancy dress on. I hadn't seen it for a while. said she's had it since my son's wedding. Oh, really? Oh, I kind of like that one. It's kind of nice dress. Gold sparkling. Okay, maybe I'll put her on a YouTube here. Okay. Just looking at some of this stuff here. Yeah, I maybe spent too much. I'm just learning this stuff. Can-Am. Can-Am, that's made in Bombardier in Quebec. Okay. I think that's Bombardier actually made that plane that crashed in Washington, D.C. Did you know that? Who makes the big water bomber? I think it's also a Canadian plane. Owned by the Thompson family now, I believe. One of the top 10 families in Canada. A lot of big money in fighting fires. Hey, the wild mushrooms go a year or two after the fires. It's called create employment. But the Mexican volcano is going up. Okay. The guy, Mexican truck driver, was going to fly, but they had to call him from the airplane. His flight was canceled. Why do you think they diverted around Iceland there at one time when the Iceland volcano go off? Why? Maybe we'll cover some of that for somebody that doesn't realize what's going on here. Okay, here's the globe. See, the flat Earth situation is kind of distorted. Greenland's not that large. Africa is maybe bigger. See, this is the equator through here. When the volcanoes go off in the southern, but they're going off here. Okay, this affects us big time here. Over in Japan, over here. Okay, it comes across. The volcanoes in the ocean here create the hurricanes. You have to have 40 degrees Celsius temperature, maybe a twisting of the tide and stuff too. Everything's a factor, okay? But, see, here, Iceland, here, how come that affected the airlines so much? Because they fly from here over, what they call over the top, because it is not totally round. Greenlanders with kinky hair, I wonder why. They have Afro-American fathers. And I believe they have something under the ice field. It's called HARP up in Alaska. Yeah. And they thought they closed it down. No, the guys in New York kind of confirmed that to me. They just moved the equipment out in the daytime, moved into a bigger place at nighttime. Okay. Australia, way down here. Tonga. See, this is south of Australia, says down under. Well, you can turn it the other way. Okay? They don't fall off. It's called gravity. Okay? Tonga here. The flooding was on the coastal areas. I thought the price of grain was supposed to be a shortage. How come? The price went down. See, most people aren't involved with agricultural enough. They don't know until the price of the groceries go up in the store. Why is there a shortage? Why California didn't want the older trucks? And who's going to make the payment, $3,000 a month payment on a new truck stuck in traffic all day long? So the warehouses are empty. The trucks are waiting, but the docks are all backed up. Why? They had no place else to put the sea cans. Why? And they want electric trucks? Oh, my goodness. Africa, Nigeria. What's the population? 5 times of all of Canada. They have oil and gas there. Nigeria, and then there's Niger. Border disputes, Congo, Chad. That's my one son's name, I know. Okay. But, you know, here's the major geographic border dispute. Here, right in here. Do you really believe it's just about that little strip of land? Like, look at all the size of the countries here. Okay? It's not about the little geographic area. It's about this. Yeah, and they suppressed things. They tried to pay off the guards about Jesus being resurrected. You think they don't want to hide the fact that how many were resurrected? It just goes on and on and on. The love of many. They were politically appointed by Rome. John the Baptist, by his father's lineage, should have been a high priest. But they want to reap what they have not sown. Malachi. Read the rest of the chapter. You bring what was taken by force and deception to his house, he should bless us. He will not bless us. They don't want to teach it that way. The preacher behind the pulpit is every bit as accountable for this tragic loss. Yeah. Let each examine themselves first. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and turn from our wicked ways, we're all accountable. Mr. Engineer, Mr. American, Mr. Stockholder, but most don't care unless it's their own family. Yeah. Big bus accident in Saskatchewan. Oh, that's their idols, the hockey players. I blame the Saskatchewan government as much as anybody. Blame the truck driver. Oh, we ran the stop sign. Let's be honest. How many of us, we make jokes about it, spin tires on pavement. How many of us actually come to 100% stop at a stop sign all the time? You're a little bit of a hurry, the traffic's coming, you got a chance to go, and the driver didn't see the bus, which was probably speeding. And the brakes were what temperature, because stop and go on a 2-lane highway. Most of the European buses have disc brakes on them. I've driven the difference. There is a big difference. Okay? The Saskatchewan government didn't take the trees back. Why? Is there politics involved with who farms there? Yeah. A lot of this is all covered over clean up abandoned oil wells. 40% of the energy is still underground. A lot of the guys, even at the oil show, didn't even know that. The carbon stays underground. For one, green hydrogen, for 1/10 the cost of solar hydrogen. Most of haven't even heard about it. The clean up the oil well, it was more about making the farmer happy. The farmer straight across, he couldn't even go with his big equipment between the oil well and the fence. It's political. Make a few people happy, make a spokesman, we're cleaning up a few. They have no intention, I believe, of cleaning this up. They know. The chemical guy didn't know it was being done at Crawford, Saskatchewan. I was interested in making methanol from this hydrogen. Methanol is so close in terminology, the chemical numbers. Okay, I was studying some of it. He says I need a carbon. Okay, so carbon stays underground, but he says you need carbon, so it's no longer going to be considered green energy. Well, wait a minute, Saskatchewan 10-year test project got carbon capture to work. Oh, do we hear about it? People in Alberta don't even know where the power came from. Yeah, it was almost ready to shut down like in Texas in a cold snap. Blocks below 60 millihertz, the computer stuff shuts it down. Okay? Is this another reason this plane died? The computer shut stuff down. We got power from the coal-fired plants in Saskatchewan. Now they got carbon capture to work after 10 years. The GE's bragging it up. Saskatchewan's testing, probably a test project with GE. They've got a little mini nuclear. I think it's a good enough idea. You could bury the thing in concrete real quick. There's a problem. Okay? Don't have to worry about taking fuel out to some remote area. How do you get the stuff across the lake when the That's why they made the long-distance drones finally legal in Canada. Why? The ice roads weren't good. So I might take a risk going through the ice. I'll fly it across with a drone. Mr. RCMP, federal police, go ahead. My friends are in jail already. I already got a criminal record. I got free room and board. I know how they think. Okay? It's a civil offense. I still cross the American line. How could I pay my traffic fines? 8 months to get paid. Does the media tell us that? No. Federal transportation policy in Canada is an absolute joke. Hey, Mr. American, how many of us know we don't even have an elected Senate in Canada? It should be called the House of Lords like in the UK. Australia has an upper house and lower house, more similar to the Americans. I didn't even know that, as they were almost left the Commonwealth. But Alberta shouldn't join Montana, huh? How ironic. They hung the one guy from Montana, Louis Riel, in Regina, Saskatchewan, 1880. Okay. Oh, boy. Those people there from Colorado and everything. The guy from Saskatchewan tried to do some farming in Colorado. Okay. Hey. Maybe the elevations are too high. There's a place down on I-15 before Salt Lake City, south of Salt Lake City, okay, on the interstate. Looks like half decent farm area. So how come they're growing just hay land? The elevation's too high. Crops don't grow well there. See, there's a reason why. There's a reason why this plane crashed. There's a reason why. It was hot. Maybe the plane was overloaded. Maybe a little fuel problem. Maybe the filters. But what I want to know is, how come we don't have stuff on top of the plane to help it in an emergency like this? Great, everything works. Well, everything doesn't work all the time, does it? You have a spare tire. Why? Well, if you're getting too many flat tires, I told the guy, put the sealant in the tire. Well, the tire guys don't like it. Tough. They like doing the service work, don't they? They use sealant in motorcycles. Why? Because you can have a major accident. You can put 2 steer wheels in the front of the motorcycle. It's safer, because most motorcycle accidents happen. Why? It happened to me. The front tire slid out on some sand on the pavement. But do Canadians want a double steer Yamaha? They had to chop the price on it. They couldn't sell it. Canadians are not the same. Target came here. They found out. They pulled back 2 years later. Canadians talk the talk, but we don't, less than the Americans. We sit back, a lot of us, and wait for the government to tell us what to do. I guess I'm not your average Canadian. I really rocked the boat like Peter rocked the boat, got out of the boat, got dunked again. I had to do myself. Yeah. Am I going to wait for somebody else's opinion to change? Just get with it. Here, Mr. American, how come a Canadian plane rescued the guy out of Antarctica in the middle of winter? Why was that a Canadian plane? I saw the daughter at the oil show, Boric Air. I asked her the question. Was everything on that plane totally FAA approved? Body language is part. She just smiled. That's how the guy built. And the FAA knew it. So who did they get? Because he had stuff on the plane for cold weather that wasn't FAA approved. Hey, North Dakota gets cold too. The guy, we name it lost wages. The guy, they got stuck there. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't flood in the middle of winter under the city. Their floodways is more for the summer flash floods in the desert. Okay. See, there's a river there. Okay, that's what I was looking for too. Maybe the guy was heading for the river with the plane. He knew about the plane in New York probably landing on the Hudson River.
1938 local time, 0808.
Is that where he was trying to head?
Data from flight radar.
Maybe. Here, there he goes. There's the picture. Okay, I kind of found it maybe. Maybe that's where he was hoping to go. Land on the river if he could get there. So all we had to do is give him a little bit more assist. Get some blades rotating at the top. Hey, you can fold them back when you don't need them. But it's going to cost extra money. It's called a gyrocopter. Self-rotation. You don't need a drive or nothing. Put them out. You got self-rotation. Keep that plane up a little bit. But no, that's going to cost extra money. Do you see how the love of money? And the preachers are every bit as accountable, because what are they teaching? You give a donation, you want your tax deduction. Really? That's not in Nigeria, I guess I found out, or in the Philippines. They call that a love offering. What do we want? The guy says, I did my charity thing, I did my donation. Most of the money doesn't get to the people who need it. That's alms. Offerings, hey, fine, if you believe what they're teaching is helping others, fine. Free will offering. But the tithe is like a commission or a tip to the person that helped you, that taught you something. Well, friends of mine, I should have more of a contract. The one guy, he doesn't think I owe him anything for fishing out his drill bit down the well. Why? I said at the oil show. The guy says, well, how did you get the bit out of the well? I said, you ever seen friction welding? He didn't even know what it was. I explained it. How do they join the axle onto that railway wheel? You just spin the axle. It burns. It melts right into the steel wheel. You can't get it apart. I know that a little bit from the farming. You have to cut the bearing off. Then you put wood blocks in it and grease it a little bit and go back to work. Why? Didn't have the part to fix it. I got harvest to do. My uncle was real good at this. Elon Musk's grandfather was like that. Don't tell the farmer, well, I'm going to be broke down all week. Really? We had a new harvester. It worked great down our second cousins, my grandmother's sisters in Kansas, for straight cutting wheat. I was supposed to be equipped with a windrower plus with equipment to pick up the windrows, what they call swathing, or in different areas call it different things. Windrow. Okay? Okay? Well, we had some problem. Stupid stone trap. You get a little tired of going underneath and getting straw and chaff down your neck, trying to close the trap door. Have to have every little straw out of the thing if it did plug up because of the electric clutches. Okay? The machine was a pain. We got into canola. I was supposed to have a back slip clutch on this one beater shaft. Twisted it up. Well, guess what? Phone call was made. The old green machine would trade it off. They still had one of them. It was back in the yard. We had crop to take off. One guy had a chance to hire a custom harvester. Oh, he's going to save some money. Really? You know what it cost him? Big wind came up, half the crop was gone. He could have been money ahead and had crop in the bin. Well, it doesn't. Usually weathers, if it gets some rain, doesn't bother oil seeds. Canola? Canada Oil. I voted on the name. I put it in my cooking, in my diesel fuel tank. Made my own custom blended fuel conditioner. The manager wondered how I was getting all the fuel mileage. That was the guy I went to see the other day. He knew. this plane here. This is kind of interesting. I'm going to watch this a little bit more. Where was the plane heading? Where was the plane heading? Right there. He was heading toward the river. If he could make it to the river, he'd landed on the river like Sully in the Hudson River. Sully got fortunate enough, he had enough elevation to make it. This guy didn't. There's my reasoning. Emergency crash? Well, put some big parachutes on the front. They can drop a tank out of a plane and land it, okay? Without what? Don't tell me we can't do this. They had big gyrocopters. They said it was too noisy to fly across from the UK to Europe. It's self-rotation. You don't even need a crankshaft. Self-rotation. Put the blades out and it's self-rotating. Keep the thing in the air. Oh, that's going to add weight. We can't haul as much freight. That's going to cost money. Okay. Maybe we go back to this one here. Is this what this guy's... this one here. Is this what this guy is promoting? Is this what this guy's promoting? Like, why are the engineers... We're boxed in.
Now you don't need any air brakes. Do you know what I mean? And
I think this is what he's getting at. This is what he's getting at. How come the planes are so the same? Why? Because engineers tend to do it this way. Elon Musk, his grandfather was like what? Like my one older uncle. The other uncle was politically involved, so I know the premier of the province. I don't know. And how come the same receptionist is still at the former premier's office? See, just because you change Trump at the top with Biden doesn't mean all the problems going to solve. It doesn't mean all the people further down that make decisions are all changed. And we're looking to man to solve our problems. Hey, lots of people getting baptized. Oklahoma, 1,400, all kinds of people. But do we want to do? Oh, no. Philip did not have to go back and ask Peter's permission. He did not have to go back and ask the other ones their opinion. The guy saw some water. He was already reading. He knew a little bit about it. Okay, can I not be baptized? And Philip did it. And later, afterwards, the Spirit took Peter to the coastal area. He probably walked out to the desert. Okay? But what do they do? Well, they had a nice big conference going on. Why would he go out to the desert? Come on, where are you going, Philip? He was led by the Spirit to do it. And the Holy Spirit. Jesus is our example. He didn't need to be baptized for salvation, Mr. Think you're going to baptize the kids to make sure? No. This is false teaching. Leave it alone.
Bugs are horrible. Come on. Oh my God, this plane falls to the ground.
Falls to the ground, see?
All right, this right here now is the Airbus A380. Looks like
I think this is exactly what this guy is getting at. Why is it all the same? Hey, it works most of the time. Okay?
Has a box. Actually, a whole
This is
lot
6
better than
months
a box.
ago.
So that's something new. Airbus, with that, you could add, I guess, a bit more, rows, make them a whole lot more spacious. You could...
See, this is what he's getting at. It's all about money.
Maybe add a spa because of all the added space.
Yeah, see, it all added money. This is what he's getting at. He's making it in a humorous way. I wonder... People ask, is that actually a real Airbus? No, come on. It's like in the Bible when he says he dipped the water finger in water, it's going to quench your thirst. It's a hyperbole. He's saying even if it was this way. He's not saying it is this way. Okay? But Matthew 22, few are chosen. I was struggling for this a little bit myself. Matthew 22. What are we taught? Everybody sitting in the pew. The iniquity of my people is a stench. A skunk stinks in his nostrils. A pew. Just a play on the word? Maybe. But what do they do with the Hebrew group? Oh, no, they have a big debate. They have to have nice, soft chairs now. The guy in the hospice heard about that too, I guess. He used to attend there. Okay? Now his wife wants to go to Adventist. Had some friends there. Yeah, well, at least they have the rapture. The Orthodox Jews, they believe they're going to be resurrected from the Mount Olives. We can read that too. Okay? Matthew 22. Twofold more child of hell as yourselves. You make it cult-like. You follow these gurus around. Okay? Many are called, but few are chosen. Here. Bind. Outer darkness. Like, we call it outer space. Weeping. Yeah, they're not happy. Okay, so there's still a lot. Gnashing of teeth. At who? At the false teachers. Like, they're on their way back to earth. He's not saying it is this way. He says, even if it was this way. Many are called. Why? The warnings. But some think the wedding garment is just to get dunked. Well, that's kind of the example. But just because you got dunked doesn't mean you're following. It's progressive. Just because you believe, should not perish. Read it. John 3:16. Should not perish, Mr. Adventist. They got the guy going around from place to place because they don't want to debate the other stuff. They don't want to give up their pagan Christmas. There's no sheep in the high country of Israel in December. Like, what's it about? Hanukkah? That's a conception. Are you really concerned about getting the teenage kids out of JWs? Well, stop celebrating your pagan birthday. Learn Hanukkah. Teach it to the JWs. They don't know what to say about it. It's in the Bible. Do you want to be so precise about something? I talked to him about this. I didn't know my father's formal name was Henry. People called him Harry. You know what I call him? Dad. It's relationship. Not straining at gnats and swallowing camels. The guy's not saying the plane is this way. Come on. Like in the comment, do they really have planes like that? Flat bottom on military planes actually gives extra lift. Seems like average robot. Just when you Swiss cannot have more ridiculous side come up. It's a hyperbole. He's not saying it is that way. He's not saying it should be that way. What he's saying is, how come the engineers cannot design safety? This is what the young guys, he knows. But people are so silly. Unbelievable. You know, a friend of mine used to say that. I should sing the song, all things are possible, only believe. Here's Mr. Watchman River. Okay. I'm an hour and a half now. Okay.
The wireless lithium lawnmower that my neighbor is using is so convenient. No need to add fuel. No
Hey, you
need
used to have to wait for the advertisement to end. We just click it off, right? Watchman River. Well, go get yourself dunked. Invite some other people down to the river. What's he talking about today?
Don't know if this is true or not. Saying to Iran, you can have a second chance. It's a direct.
Oh, second, third, fourth chance. How come Gaza even is there? Did you know Gaza is in Amos 1, Zephaniah 2? What? Isaiah 29. Ariel Sharon. I had to do some digging on this one. When I heard he died, it's like, well, I thought he died years ago. I had to do some digging. Ariel. Ariel who? Verse 10. Slept a deep sleep. He was in a coma for 8 years. 8 is the number of new beginnings. Like Revelation 21. New heaven and new earth. By the way, the moon happens to be within 10% of our present high-tech knowledge. How did John know that size? Okay? How did he know Zechariah? How did he know the missiles? Zechariah chapter 5. But preachers don't want to read it? A talent of lead. Lead is heavy. I'm not sure what the talent is. A big number. Gives the dimensions. Happens to be the same size as the missiles in the museum piece in New York on the submarine. Just happens to be. That totally caught my attention. Like, whoa.
In attacks, each consisting of several dozen.
Maybe there's something to me. My dad knew when I was 14 years old. I could look at the steel building we're putting up. The other guy was neighbor going around. We'd do half his farming or whatever. Some of these people retire off to BC and never hear from them again. The one girl even went to my brother's high school graduation with him. My mother had to ask her to do that. Me? I just asked the neighbor girl. She had to ask her parents because she was actually underage. Nigerian lady, my wife gets jealous of him. She does some Uber with it. Hey. Okay, whatever. But Mr. Watchman Nee, like Watchman Nee, that's the, wasn't the Asian guy's name Watchman Nee? A book? Yeah, Watchman River here. Okay. Okay, goes on and on and on. Suffering in Japan. Most hated airline. What is this? Filling not allowed. Okay. But I go
Now,
back to
breaking news. The brand new global airlines that had its first flight just last week sucks. At least that's the impression you make of the airline when you watch YouTubers' reviews.
Oh, I see what this is what this guy is doing. And some people get the pun. You know, have some fun with it. Okay? Hey. Unless you don't believe in the resurrection, yeah, this is a serious deal. But no. Like, we won't get out of this life alive anyway. But never say never. There are a few, like Enoch. But what are we being taught? Oh, everybody sitting in the pew is gonna really. No wonder some other people interpret that as being escapism. Mid-trib. The guy in Lethbridge more mid-trib. I believe it's every 7 years. I had to come out of pre-trib. Other people are dying in other countries. Don't tell them, you know, when you lost half your family that it's all pre-trib. That's happened 1st century AD. Okay? Okay, Swiss Air. Scully. Here's the captain here. Okay, this guy puts on his uniform. Okay. Why? People are attracted. The guy must know what he's talking about. He's got a uniform on. Hey, give him a diploma. Oh, I talk to people with railway. They know how to operate the train, my son, but does he figure out how to get himself out of their life? No. Probably not. Well, make an escape hatch. You don't have elevation like the jet fighter? Well, put the drone on top. Fasten it to the chair. Should be strapped in an ejection seat. You're going to crash? We're out of here. Boom. Now. Have the drone ahead so maybe the train can even stop in time. Okay, the bridge is washed out. We hope it stops. It's on emergency braking. Okay. Okay. Going down the big hill in BC. Hey, don't tell me they can't stop a loaded freight train. They stop a fighter jet on an aircraft carrier. Don't tell me you can't do this. See, my mother taught me the biggest shortage they had in the Ukraine was between the bureaucrats' ears. And a lot of these bean counters are the same way. Can't do this, can't do that. Really?
The headrest was attached to the seat. Yeah, the crew's really bad, to be honest. Yeah, you can tell he's an old head.
Hey, I got sick on the plane coming back. I saw the hologram in Israel. There was no wall to touch at Shiloh. I learned different things, but I got fairly sick coming back. Finally, they let me lay down and some empty seats at the back. Wow. Like, what, do I have to have an actual heart attack? Yeah, my arm was hurting. I thought I hurt my arm before I went doing some lifting. And, hey, now, once a month, I fast. And I should do that again. I get my blood pressure under control. And what did my wife buy the other day? Oh, she bought some stuff to get the blood pressure. Just take a couple of this and that'll be a problem. Yeah, it doesn't help my blood sugar, does it? Okay. Most hated airline ever. I don't know what he's referring to. Global Airlines, okay. But now they learned how to lift. Hey, people watch this stuff. Hey, criticize people all you want. Mexican, you know. There's a time to save a nickel and a dime, and a time to do it right. There's a time to do emergency repair. There's a time and season for everything. The guy didn't place a $300 or $400 wiring harness under the truck when he fixed the engine brakes because I refused to take it through the mountains. And the company said, no, you got to get it fixed. Then he had a guy fix his clutch out of the shop. Oh, the shift lever is all terrible. Oil, I should have refused. Took the transmission out. Nickel and dime himself to death. The electrical shorted out, took out the computer. Okay. I had time and place to fix it properly. Okay. When you're out in the bush, you got a flat tire, how do you change a tire? See, most people don't know how to do this.
You're the onion guy? And I go, yeah.
You got some starting fluid. You spray it in, you throw a rag at it, boom! Hey, the tire's on the rim. How's that? Magic! They're giving us static. Supposed to wear a seatbelt. I said the logs are coming through my back of my head. I want to be out the door. They give us static. Don't have a bunk. Oh, we carried a pup tent. Come out to the bush and find us. Yeah, I'm going to sleep in a cold bunk pup tent out in the cold. We had a board to put across the seat. You could lay down and have a nap. Hey, the loaders broke down and we're going to be stuck there half the night. Oh, yeah. So, no. They strain at gnats and swallow camels. Door popped open. Open, turned deadly. I tell you what I do as a truck driver. I'm semi-tired, see. I make jokes about take the retired off. It's a play on the English words. I'm semi-tired, tired of driving semis. You want to see my mug? Another guy has more whiskers. He's already figures he's sanctified. I know I'm not. My wife thinks I should go to the Philippines by myself. I said, no, I don't trust myself. Come on, get real. Okay, bright lights bother me. But I passed my eye test in the morning. I just threw that down in front. I think he is from Quebec. He thinks he's so smart. 20 years of trucking. I said, buddy, I've been driving truck twice. Oh, you probably don't even have a license. So I threw it down in front of him. I just got it. No, it didn't have a truck license on it. But he didn't look at it. He got all cheesed off at me. Okay. He didn't look at it. Okay. Well, about this door popping open? Hey, a couple ratchet straps. Put it across. The door's not, at least it's not going to fall off. Hey, think we haven't done this with the trucking? Doesn't look too healthy, the door. Put a ratchet strap across it and tighten it up. At least it's not going to blow right off the... What? Is this what the... And the mechanics? Yeah, I've met them. The one way up north in Yellowknife was now working on trucks. Why? At least the truck, maybe fix it at the side of the road or get a tow truck. They were told to sign off on aircraft. A door popped open. The pilot should have seen that. Maybe he's supposed to do inspection. Well, get a ratchet strap, throw it on there. At least it's not going to blow right off. Hey, might have a little pressurized problem if it opens up a little bit, but at least it's not going to blow right off. Okay? Is this what they're going to have to do? Inspect and appreciate the information breakdowns, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I kind of read through the comments, take the time, find out stuff. Yeah, this thing's still working. I thought maybe... Hey, 11 o'clock here. Coming up to 11 o'clock. Okay, so much for going anywhere this morning. I'll maybe watch my wife. Maybe she's going to be doing some reading. Okay. Should we go into that? Maybe. Maybe my wife will be up there. Okay, we should go there. Where are we going to go to find that? Okay, I can go here or back there. Captain Steve here. Okay. We'll key it in here. There it is right there. See right there. Okay. Weekly update. Here we go. Okay. Live stream June 14th. Yeah, it's the 14th. Okay. Live streaming here. Here. Live streaming here. What do we got here? What do we got? Some music. Yeah. And don't tell me they don't major on the Torah. Yeah. And this guy here, his wife was teaching him, my wife, some Hebrew. And he gave me static for giving a guy a small donation outside. Hey, it's okay if I put the $10 in the little drop box and get a tax receipt for a donation, right? Okay, but no. And I prayed about it after he gave me stack. I said, Lord, did I really do wrong? A day or half or so later, I got a phone call all the way from East Coast, USA. From a lady we'd picked up in the middle of a snowstorm. The guys, he can confirm that to me. I should talk to him. Go see him again today, maybe. Okay. He was with me. He likes playing music. The guy at the hospital now. You should stick to their knitting. The guy, very good musician from Moscow. Okay. His mother's a music teacher or something too. Plays the organ and the piano at the same time. No, he's not good with theology. Stick to your knitting, Mr. Hamilton, Ontario, Aaron. Okay? Says anybody. I try to call him. Oh, no, only with email. Only with email. Really. Only when you want to reply. Only after you get a donation or what? Okay? What's the guy doing now? He's got his eyes covered. What is he doing now? Oh, he got their little beanie on to cover the eyes. I don't see all this tradition. Where does it say, the guy out at Airdrie, to get his son static, it's a fish, not a whale. Oh, really? Wonder why his son didn't want to be in the study. Okay. Want his daughters to wear all this head covering. They're not married yet. He doesn't like this idea of beanie. I kind of agree with him. Where does it say in your Torah that you're supposed to wear, the men are supposed to have their heads uncovered when they're praying? What's he doing? Oh.
And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house.
Let's go.
On your gates.
We can shut that off for a while.
And you shall love your neighbor as yourself.
I wanted to see if my wife's on there yet. Come on, shut off. Oh, how about we leave this? We just shut that music off. There. Don't need to hear the canter. Unreal. All things are possible. Up from the grave he rose with a mighty triumph for his foes. He rose a victor from the dark domain, and he lives forever with his saints to reign. Yeah, let's go to that. Saints to reign. Okay, Zechariah 14. Okay, Zechariah 14. Let's see what it says. Okay? See, the saints come with him. I wrote down white horse. Some people like to teach the white horse is a coming Antichrist. Well, who is Simeon sorcerer? Where's Canaanite teaching come from? See, this is the last chapter of this. This says this in Hebrew. So why is this other version thing translated some other way? Okay. Living waters. There's live freshwater fish in the sinkholes, and that's how they're surviving under Gaza. Yeah. Former sea, I would say that was the Dead Sea. And the Hinder Sea. Okay, that's the Mediterranean. Did you know the Mediterranean is twice as salty as the Atlantic? I didn't know that. You think Dead Sea salt is 100% Dead Sea salt? It's marketing. Come on. And the saints, see, the ambassadors are already chosen. Where? At the third heaven marriage supper. Come with him. But they think there's a resurrection from Mount Olives. That's where this guy here is at. They're post-tribbers. A lot of them don't agree with it. Maybe they call themselves pan-trib. In other words, I don't want to be controversial. I don't want to get kicked out. My wife likes it that way. Pan-trib. You know what Jesus said? Get off the fence. Be hot or cold. It's a form of lukewarmness. That's all it is. It's pathetic. Yeah, you'll be resurrected. It'll pan out in the end. After the 1,000 years, you'll be resurrected. Stand before your king and say, well, I just didn't want to be controversial. I just pan-trib, you know. It'll pan out in the end. You'll stand before your king and you'll answer. Teacher. The ones that teach what? Those that are not capable of knowing. A child. Or some handicapped. Or in some prison land that doesn't have his written word. He clearly said, blessed are those that have not seen, the doubting Thomas, but believe. Why? Believe his written word. This will come about. It is happening now. Zechariah chapter 5. This is happening. It's not a paper featherweight flying through the air. There's dimensions. It happens to be the size of the missiles in the museum piece, the submarine in New York Harbor. The little space capsules on the aircraft carrier. I don't even know how they got into the thing. I really question that too. Okay. The rumor in the Ukraine was that the dog came back dead from the radiation belt. Well, what is the real truth here? Talent. Hey, I should look it up. Talent of lead. Talent I know is a big number. Lead I know is heavy. How much is the weight of talent of lead? How much do these planes weigh? I have no idea. But I know they probably load it right to the 10th degree with freight or whatever. Why do you think they don't want to put safety stuff on top? Yeah. Don't tell me they couldn't prevent that plane from coming down so hard. That's totally bogus. The branch. Who's the branch? Well, it talks about Romans 11. We're grafted into the vine. I got chucked out of my ear because they talked about 10 and 12, but they missed 11. I already knew the farmer a little bit. Had been at his farm. They chucked me out the door. Yeah. Well, didn't want to discuss that. The branch. He builds. I prefer King James for different reasons. But I believe that should be capitalized. Maybe in King James, maybe I should look that up. Maybe in the King James 1611 version, maybe it is. There's something to study sometime. Okay, 11:15. Okay. But talent of lead from Shinner, Iran. When we're in Israel, only one time I was there. Some go twice a year. Twice a year. How nice. Hey, keep the donations coming. Okay. Sure. Maybe somebody else is paying his way. Somebody else helped pay my way. I wasn't even supposed to go. There was a cancellation. I told my wife maybe only when my king's on the throne. Okay. But they fired a missile from Shinner, Iran, across the Persian water when we were over there. I believe it was kind of a warning shot, okay, at the Saudis for being so. Oh, there's a. Should have texted that. The musicians are going back down. That's the Spanish guy. The one. Here's the guy. Has a sheep farm. Okay, who's doing what here? Okay. Oh, they've got the kids' prayer thing yet. Okay, holding that up. And the guy, Peter is his name, has a little sheep farm. His dad had the little farm. Well, who runs the show now? Oh, his wife does. Come on. Receptionists at these places think they're running the show when the CEO is gone. The accountant and the receptionist think they're running the show. Really? Hey, things need to carry on. Well, where do we get this thinking from? Hey, put the two parables of the sheep pens together. He is the gate, and it's his sheep, not ours or theirs. But see, they're hired to look after the sheep. You don't have 99 sheep and the shepherd goes off to find the lost sheep without somebody there to look after the sheep. They're his sheep, not yours. Stop it. But no, they get it. Idea, it's their sheep. He shall build his temple, and he. But what do they teach? Got to have. I saw the hologram, but they don't want to discuss it. Okay, there's Hanukkah in the background. Okay, here's this lady here. Oh, she's such a beautiful voice for singing. Okay, that's that's his wife. Okay, so he prays something prayer shawl while they're doing the kids' prayer. Okay, and then they march around with the Torah, and it's already 11:18. But no, they don't major on the minors, the Torah. Really? Most of the function. Yeah, okay, they're trying to win over the Orthodox Jew. But see, in that trying to win the Orthodox Jew over with the Messianic, I think Mark Blitz, the guy in Missouri, got pardoned by Trump. I'm trying to think of his name now. Is he's gone post-trib too. Joe Richardson. Hey, go sell your houses, Mr. Richard. You don't need a mansion to live in. Like, live a little modestly. Go help the poor and the downtrodden. Teaching that it's no rapture. This is the Orthodox Jewish thinking. So you try to win, and association's critical, but where have they gone to? All the way from one extreme to the next. The guy in Lethbridge, at least, is mid-trib. But I believe it was every 7,000, every 1,000. Enoch was in the first 1,000. See, he walked with Adam and Eve. He didn't just come once. And he didn't say he's just coming a second time. He said he's coming again. Okay? Who was with the chariots? Hey, who's that? My Filipino wife got her little head covering shawl. Okay, and maybe she said she's going to be reading this. I'll turn it on so I can say to her, I watched you. Why am I not there? The Filipino guy had me put out the door. I already had permission to talk to the Spanish kids from the mother. I was talking about the volcanoes. That's why it's so dry up north. They knew that already. They're not taught in school. During the lockdown, I was downstairs. He never even talked to me for 2 weeks on the tour group. What's his issue? Maybe somebody took advantage of his sister. A lot of the Filipino guys do not like the foreign people. Why? It's a ticket out of the country for the ladies. How come Solomon had so many wives? I think it was part of their social welfare system. Yeah, Bolivia. I found that out in Bolivia. Well, what do I care about Bolivia? Well, I learned. They estimate 70 to 80% of the men were killed in the wars. The guy came from Europe, practically royal family or whatever, had a great big ranch and farm. Hey, they just looked the other way. You can have nothing, or you could be one of his harem. Hey, you could be in the temple like the one lady. How come she was in the temple with no kids? You got people pray for no kids now, or do away, or just call it a fetus in their lifestyles. Okay, that's Hanukkah. Mary met Elizabeth, the conception. Okay. So you want a child? Well, you can, if Solomon likes you enough in the concubine, well, maybe you'll have a child with Solomon. It was part of their social welfare structure, I believe now. Okay? We hear about the wars. Well, ladies now they can maybe fly the fighter jet themselves. Don't need a lot of muscle. A lot of the men were killed in the wars. Did Bathsheba's wife have a problem? Maybe a medical problem? Maybe some body parts got nipped a little too short? And Peter was quick with the sword. The guy probably ducked. He got a quick haircut on the one side, took his ear off. Jesus restored it. Okay, we have the story. You think they didn't lose different body parts? How come Bathsheba didn't have any kids? I never saw one lady I saw solar panels. I saw water barrels, maybe an odd piece of clothing drying in the wind. Not one lady in their liberal society sunbathing on top of a rooftop. What was Bathsheba doing up there? Okay. Did she have any kids? I don't think so. I tried to look that up. I don't believe she did. How come her husband didn't go back to see her? There was a problem. Don't tell me. We all have problems. There was a problem. Okay? We're not 100% sure what the problem was. But no, there was a problem. Oops, now we got a problem. Goes on and on and on. Oh, it's only 11:24. Then you're gonna have a how many minute sermonette, and most of them will be on the Old Testament. The New Testament is revealing of the Old. There's not plan A and plan B. What are they teaching? Different gospel for the Jew and the Gentile. Again, go to Revelation chapter 14. Okay? Kaya Airdrie didn't want his older kids to be married at all. Ran off any guy that even talked to his oldest daughter. The younger one is still home. He thinks she's a troubled child. The other one's just kind of toe the line more. Okay? What does it say? Provoke your children not to wrath. Really. But I'm the one with the problem that I should be associating continually with this. Really. Be not unequally yoked. Association is critical. These are they which defiled with women. Hey, so we should not want to be married. Well, I thought the Lord told us we should be married and should have children. You know, be fruitful and multiply. That's why Bolivia was facing major problem with major population decline. Okay. Is that what Solomon had to help out too? But they think they shouldn't be married. Really? When we are resurrected, we will all be youthful virgins again. That's why they didn't recognize Lazarus at the dinner party or Jesus on the garden road until Jesus spoke. It can be used in courtroom, voice print now, from a recording. Yeah, you don't have to see the person's picture on a phone. You hear his voice. We recognize the voice. You know, once you're an adult especially, your voice kind of cracks there when you're going into adolescence. There you go. Goes on and on and on. This is the Hebrew Messianic groups, okay? A lot of them don't want to do away with the Star of David. Well, I question that. Guy tried to explain it in Lethbridge to be the pomegranate, really. Okay? Then he tried to, from this foundation class teaching, oh, you're not Jewish, Alice, so it doesn't really matter. They tried that with a lady happens to be Hebrew. Yeah, her mother was Jewish, and just because she's black, hey, Moses had a wife from North Africa. Get over it. Mr. Walter Veth, the one that teach they're all from Kazakhstan, Western Europe. Really? Oh, look who's here. This is what I wanted to see.
At the time of evening, his disciple approached him and said, "This place is desolate, and the day has stretched on. Send away the crowd of people so they may go to the villages to buy food for themselves." Verse 16, he said, or Yeshua said to them, "They do not need to go. You give them something to eat." They said to him,
About feeding the multitude.
They said to him, We do not have anything here except 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. He said, bring them here to me. And he commanded the people to sit on the grass, and he took the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. He lifted his eyes toward heaven and made a bracha. Then he broke and gave the bread to the disciples, and disciples gave it to the people. Verse 20. All them ate were satisfied, and from the leftover pieces they picked up 12 full baskets. Those who ate were about 5,000 men, not counting the women and the children. Baruch Hashem.
Hey, now you see my wife, right? They got her active here. They used to do the live streaming, and they got cheesed off. It wasn't done right. She kind of said, well, I'd get somebody else to do it then. Good. I thought she was hoping she'd get to come out of the boat. She just went from the Sunday group boat into the next boat and totally turned around and shunned her Sunday friends. What? As if everybody here,
This is the Torah which Moses placed before the children of
so
Israel.
many of them are just legalistic, like Seventh-day Adventists. Doesn't mean they're totally wrong, but spirit of freedom and liberty to follow him? No, they're legalistic. But if you don't adhere to their system, oh, you're not up to their high standards. Really, what are they teaching? So anybody that hasn't been at some of these Hebrew type functions, yeah, this is a lot what goes on. I used to go across Kitty Corner to Tim Hortons, kind of famous in Canada here. He was a hockey player. Caught on in Buffalo, New York a little bit. The old guy asked me after we moved back to Calgary, Alberta, what causes love to wax cold? So does a dietary thing cause love? I says, no. We discussed it. But what do they teach? They don't want to, same as the Adventists. They pat themselves about the seventh day. They have their dietary stuff. Everything else. Okay. Hey, a lot of the stuff we're doing dietary-wise is not good. There's scavenges the air, land, and sea, yes. And the yellow cloud hung over Wuhan, China, same as in Kansas City from the infected pigs. He says, you have polluted my land. Okay? Lots of grazing ground, not suitable for tillage. Okay? We had to pick the rocks off the little knoll hills. That's where rock pickers developed in Saskatchewan, not around the better land. Dad said the research stations are all based on the good land. The hills were full of rocks you go around. The better soil was where the bush was on. Okay? And it's filled up with water. How do you get rid of the bush? You got to go out there at wintertime when it's frozen and take the bush off. Put some drainage in. Okay? Do some property improvements. Takes money. Hey, the bank was giving me static. I turned around and made $100,000 in 1 year from property development. Okay? I turned around and flipped the one guy's for Red Deer. Okay? Real estate guy looked at it and says, nothing wrong with the agreement. You have to take out the fence line and the bush and stuff so the guy can farm it with one big field. That's what they want. The guy wanted to back out of the deal. I made the $20,000. Didn't even take possession of it. Got out there, got the fence down. It's warmer in the afternoons. Got the fence down. Got the bush off. Yeah. Made $100,000 on the whole deal. $20,000 for him, and it was $20,000 on each, but they included property development. Okay, oops, I wanted to go back to that. Okay, we'll go back to that, Mr. Shelley. Yeah, how come he wears his uniform? Come on. Oh, maybe he just got off the plane. He's got his tie on too. Well, he's military for background or something. He wants to look formal. He's got quite a few YouTube carriers. Okay. I guess that's what I got from watching this plane crash. How to make it safer. We'll go back to this Hebrew group. Don't tell me you can't put gyrocopter wings to fold them out and it's self-rotation at the top. You could have kept that plane in the air. Okay? See, they don't think this way. Engineers tend to just follow one another. Who is it pushes the envelope on this stuff? Hey, my uncle taught me.
Of the Torah and the connection to this week's Torah portion.
Here.
Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered. Let those who hate you flee before
He's
you.
back here. He wouldn't baptize me. He got back from Ottawa. Flies around the world. His own son said the wife runs the show. Okay.
And so that's kind of interesting. And even the Torah portion that was half Torah portion this week is God rebuking Satan. And so God is really, in control, and we need to really pray for Israel.
I don't know if you can hear him or not.
An amazing job in going
I'm not doing a professional YouTube. I got other things to do too. I go around. The one guy's got a ministry to the poor. Okay, that's nice. Nobody helps. I just go around getting jobs, opportunities for people. Try to help them, encourage them to get out of the doldrums. Young people qualify for federal ag production. I don't. My oldest grandkid could be involved with his uncle, my ex-brother-in-law, on the farm in Saskatchewan. Yeah. Hey. There's a Chinese-style greenhouse. South-facing window. The sun's way in the south. Gets too hot in the summertime anyway. So put the windows to the south. The back wall becomes a heat sink. They roll down an insulated tarp on the outside. One guy says, well, that sounds like a lot of work. A lot of work. The automatic sensor units on the one greenhouse here. Nobody there tomorrow and Sunday. It opens and closes automatically.
As I mentioned last week, that Pastor Ken Gill, who's a spiritual giant in Calgary, he passed away, and his funeral's on Tuesday, 11:30 at First Assembly. So if anyone that knew Ken Gill, which I did, and he was really a good brother, and you're welcome to come and be part of that.
First Assembly, really. My Nigerian friend goes there.
Who some of you may know, Destola. He's one of the key leaders in the Restoration House. His wife just passed away.
Restoration House, see.
And, so two funerals just.
Okay, two funerals. Okay. Okay, a friend of mine is 10 years younger than me. Hey, when you get into the bigger numbers, a few years one way or another, it doesn't make that much difference. See, for a 1-year-old, for a 1-year-old kid, that's double their lifetime. 10 years when you're only 10 is, well, once you're 20, 10 years ain't no big deal, is it? And you're an adult. The Filipinos recognize this somewhat more. 50 years difference with her husband in Texas. Did she care? No. Got a couple kids. Jacob was 77 years old. There's some theology to learn. He left 7 years later with Rachel. Hey, his father, kind of little deception there, but He wanted the older girl married out too. Her biological clock is ticking. You can have the younger one too. Later, I don't know, maybe it was right away. He left 7 years later with Joseph, Rachel, both wives. One wife at a time, enough problem. You can't nail them to the ground like a Christmas tree, okay? Okay, why did they have the Christmas tree, Mr. Perry Stone? Go back to Christmas. What do you think the temple prostitutes were? They were in the groves of trees around the altars. I learned that when I was in Israel.
PowerPoint, we have a Joshua Aaron.
Joshua Aaron, famous singer coming in. Gonna have a big concert, big party. Hey, they had the big party with the food outside the fence when the soldiers want to have a holiday. I knew that wasn't a good idea. And I knew there was a problem with the red heifers. I knew that was not a good idea. And this guy got caught with his wife the day the war started. Faith? They're absolutely paranoid to get out of there. They're thinking of flying to Turkey. Some people said just, they were absolutely paranoid. Some people go there to help because they need people to help on the farms. Oh. Yeah, one guy went before to work on a kibbutz. It's something like a colony, or it's like everybody pitches in. But the National Guard was called up, so who's going to milk the cows? Well, I guess we could put robotic cows in. The guys at Maple Creek Colony shouldn't have asked for the permission. They should have done it. Now they're denied. Now we got a problem. Okay, a little bit of a fair-sized congregation. Oh, this is the big singer coming up. You're gonna have it at a bigger location, big party. I told my wife I don't need to go. The tickets were fairly expensive. I went to the political thing in Passover. My stepson paid his mother's wife, my wife's birthday present. She'd keep the Hanukkah month of conception. Okay. But people think it's no big deal not putting away these traditions. Really, no big deal. Well, you won't understand that there's 2 Sabbaths that week, Mr. Adventist. That you're just being legalistic about Saturday. I think the one guy knew what I meant. Okay, 2 hours here now, up. Okay. So maybe I'll end this one. And then, yeah, it actually went again. I want to put my name and number on here again. See, I'm still learning this, what I can do and what I can't do. And I don't mean to go over 3 hours. Feast of Trumpets. It's about 100 days from now. I wrote this about a month ago. Pentecost, there's debate of which day. I believe it's on the high annual Sabbath, not Sunday at all. Okay. 4:03. My name. Calgary, Alberta. Mountain time. Okay. One guy texted me, a friend of mine texted me at 5:30 in the morning. Then he later calls me, pumps me for information. Then he says, accusing me of talking too much and other stuff. I kind of flipped it back at him. He says, what? So we're kind of teed off at each other. Okay, fine. You want to go motorcycling with your friends anyway. Don't want to help do anything, even though I helped boost his vehicle when he wasn't working one time. On and on and on. Won't rent me the little gold detection equipment. Okay. Hey, I studied something about Montana. Did you know the watershed actually went both ways in Montana, depending on the spring? How come the gold rush actually? What were they doing up digging there? Yeah, they maybe found some gold. What were they doing digging there in the first place? How come the Mississippi water starts up there? How come the Mississippi waters, the military engineering corps or whatever, it's for military. Yeah. Is that why the Golden Strike happened in Montana? Maybe. Is that why Custer's last stand actually happened up in Montana? Hey, lots of history involved with this stuff, you know.
But they shared everything they had in Acts 4:32.
Acts.
Great power, the apostles continued to testify to the
Acts
resurrection of the Lord
4:32.
Yeshua, and much grace was upon them. There was no needy persons among them. From time to time, those
No needy persons among them. Why? Why? They should all give to the leadership. Distributed to all who had need. I had our vehicle in the back, broke down, and the only one that asked was a guy that has his kids at the daycare. What? He hardly even talks to me. Doesn't even know how to back out a vehicle hardly. I found out his wife does more of that. Like, until you get around some of these people, you really don't know what's going on. The one guy in Calgary, Alberta, tomorrow, has a function. Doesn't show the rainbow flags, by the way. I think he shut the camera off when he had a little discussion about that, why one lady was upset about that. On and on and on. What was he used for an address? American address. Well, 10 times the population. Send your donations. He's making that on. He's got property around Calgary here. I sure hope he upgraded his photoelectric. Mr. American should do that too. Norway made photoelectric mandatory 3 years ago. Will go off 30 minutes sooner from your smoldering lithium fire. Very toxic. And carbon monoxide should be in your furnace room. See, most Americans don't even have that. Or down at your ankle level. Okay.
Peace was there, and so was Caiaphas, John, Alexander, and the other men of the high priest's family, and they were the ones who were responsible.
But no, gets back. Send your donations to an American address. Really? See, unless you're there, you don't really know what's happening. My wife was listening to this guy in Texas. All of a sudden, he wasn't online so much. I found out they took him off because he is having somewhat questionable relationship with a married lady. Okay. Later, he gets back on there again. Found her watching this guy again. He had a problem with Paul. Paul. Why you got a problem with Paul? It makes a statement Paul shouldn't be in the Bible. I think he's got the problem, not Paul. I says, I don't want you watching it anymore. Okay? These people, what are they teaching? Well, I can't nail my wife down to the floor. I couldn't even force her to sign my pension exemption for my student loan. She's the one that got me into it. Cost me $200 a month now for that. Yeah, I asked too many questions. I should have realized the little girl getting more frustrated. No warning, nothing. Got kicked out of digital marketing school. I was trying to learn it. I'm trying to learn this stuff. Most people don't have, what? Professional YouTuber? No, I'm not a professional YouTuber. You know, really wonder why they have this black curtain behind. And I talked to some of them. Do they want to change anything? No.
He spoke to the wind and calmed the storm. He filled the boat with fish. He raised.
See, unless you're there, you don't know what's going on. Okay? I guess that's why I had this on here. Okay, Acts, where they divided, and no need of any. Hey, no need of any. They have a comfortable lifestyle like Joel Richardson. I found out on Chestermere Lake where they had the baptism, wouldn't do me. The guy from Lethbridge had a very good teaching about William Booth with Salvation Army. I guess he was Jewish, come to go realize Jesus, Yeshua, it's all blocked out. Why? They want government funding. We better block that out or what? Compromise, compromise, compromise. Salvation Army, do they even teach people that should be baptized as an adult? How many people only baptized as an infant? In their own Hebrew groups. But they don't say, oh, you should get with it. You should get dunked again. No. Well, we don't believe in rebaptism, even as an adult. How many times was Solomon baptized? How many wives did he have? He had to go through the mikveh tank every time. That is the Holy Spirit power. That is not our salvation. He is our salvation. What are these people teaching?
And rebuke them. It would not be exciting to see.
Doesn't mean we can't learn from others, but don't go following them down the garden path. My wife doesn't even call him by his name. Rabbi, Rabbi. Wear your garments somewhere other else. One guy even wears it at a Sunday group. But he won't confront anybody about anything. Wouldn't even talk to me there. I see him at the Hebrew functions with his homemade wine. Do you actually believe a Nazarite made fermented wine? No, there was children at the wedding. Come on. We call it fetal alcohol syndrome. What, just before they left the mother's womb? It's for the aged, for the ill. I don't want it on my table. The one mother knew. Guy Mormon came out to check this out a little bit. We're good. Maybe he sat at our table because he saw our table had no bottles of wine on it. I don't want it at our table. My sister-in-law down in New York, it's their house. I don't like the Christmas tree either. That's paganism. But it's their house.
God, for you cannot. So those who are in the flesh cannot please God.
But I don't have to be part of it.
You are not in the flesh.
In the flesh. What is he teaching? I can watch this later on. It will be posted in a couple of weeks. So you want to go look up it later on if you want to watch it totally more later on. It'll be posted in a couple of weeks.
Apostles and how they literally transformed their generation. And there's more than 12.
You can learn, but don't go down the garden path with them. Okay? We're to follow Jesus Yeshua. Where is his? Heaven is his throne. Earth is his footstool. My kids used to play in Saskatchewan on the Mormon parking lot in Regina. We're just half a block away. After a while, they wouldn't stop anymore. Why? And JW's. They asked me, so what church do you go to? They asked me here, up north. Well, I live way in the south, so I'm not here. I kind of avoided the question, you know. But really he's saying, which boat are you in? Peter was called out of the boat. So the Mormons, they asked me what church. I say, I go to the Church of the Living God. Where's that? Heaven is his throne, earth is his footstool. You don't dwell in temples made by human hands. You ever wonder why they have difficulty explaining the difference between the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and the God of Allah? Allah, you have to die to get there. If you die in a jihad war, you get 1,000 virgins at your pleasure. Well, so much for equality. That guy figures he can have a other cousin wife and kids, and he thinks the Filipino wife is okay with this. She's not. She's in the Philippines now, milking him. He built a house or something for her, sends money to her. He thinks she's going to come and stay with the other family. I doubt it. I really doubt it. Her 2 sons are growing up. She don't want nothing. No.
And there's a scripture in Psalms 139, which we're familiar with.
Allah is the God of the dead. But what are they teaching? They're teaching Canaanite type teaching. That's where they got it for Romanism. They travel the Mediterranean. Okay? Yeah. But they want to teach abomination, desolation is what causes love to wax cold. No, it's not. Okay? Okay? It's Canaanite. It's last chapter of Zechariah. See? Other people tomorrow with the guy First Assembly. Oh, that's in the Old Testament. Well, they like this verse, don't they? Will a man rob God? Bring it in the whole tithe into the storehouse. Where's his storehouse? See, what are they doing? They're reaping what they have not sown. They're feeding upon the sheep. They have not fed the sheep. Ezekiel 34. Do they want to read this one? Or oppress the hireling? What? You owe a person? Make some restitution. But they don't want to teach that. The financial people took the printing press from under Gutenberg. Yeah. Why don't they want to teach that? Because. And the false priests were politically appointed at the time of Jesus, Yeshua. What do we got now? Well, you got a diploma from some higher education or sanctioned by an atheistic government with a mandatory class of psychology, which is a form of godliness denying the power. Yeah, Mr. Adventist, it's at your college too. I had to leave it alone. Dave Hunt wrote the books Seduction and Christianity Beyond Seduction. Another guy gave me the book Psycho-Heresy. The psychologist, well, I've heard about it, but I don't think I need to read it. You don't want to read it. But they put him behind the pulpit here. Yeah. Oh. Rick Warren. Hey, driven? I didn't even read the book. He calls us. He didn't drive us. What's Rick Warren rightly doing? Now, people got him praying to Mother Mary for some Eucharist thing? Catholic Mass or what? Hey, it warns about it. Go forward. Acts 16:11. Okay. I was going to cover Malachi. I hop, skip, and jump all over the place, don't I? Yeah. Down every rabbit trail I come to. Canaanite. This is in the Hebrew, not trader merchant. What are they teaching? Okay. Talks about the funerals of these other guys. My wife won't even go to these places because she's in their boat. But they go to conferences with these people. The guy denied it. I happened to see him in the washroom out at Chestermere Lake. Denied it. I says, you're online. Okay? Deny, deny, deny. Okay?
After Yeshua ascended to the Father, Ephesians 4:8 says that Yeshua led captivity captive and he gave gifts to men.
Hey, there's an interesting one. Laid captivity captive, Ephesians 4. But they want to teach what? That Elijah didn't go to the third heaven. Hey, let's go to Psalm 68. I was going to go somewhere else. Let's go to Psalm 68. There it is. How many chariots were there? 20,000 angels with them. And who is with them? As in Sinai. Doesn't mean... So it happened in Sinai, something like this too. Okay? Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. This is what he's talking about. Ephesians 4. Okay? So... Paul just kind of left the last part off. Jesus in the temple left the last part, right? He comes with vengeance. Okay? Left the last part off. Rebellious Saul. Oh, Samson was rebellious, but he was resurrected, taken captive. Where? To the highest heaven. Okay? Okay. Let's get it. But no, they don't want to teach that. See how they take and check and pick and choose. Line upon line. Moses died. It's listed 3 times. Okay? twice in the book of Joshua. Joshua divided the Red Sea, the Jordan River in flood season. Because we didn't make a movie about it. What? People don't know about it? Well, just because it doesn't say Enoch didn't divide. Okay? Moses died 3 places. But what did he want to teach? You know what they want to teach? Elijah comes. Yeah, after. Okay, that's in Malachi. Joel, Zechariah, here. Elijah comes. Oh, go check the door. Might be Elijah at the Passover. Maybe Elijah's come. After what's going to happen now. Do you get it? Well, they like this one too. Bring the whole tithe in the storehouse. So they can go touring around. Yeah. It's all about the money. The love of money. Plane crashes and everything. Don't people say, well, if there was a God, why wouldn't he prevent it? He tries to get, but we have the God-given right to choose. We can choose our own destructive ways or choose his ways. And the love of many. Don't tell me you can't make that plane safer. But how many people are going to blame God? God will not be mocked. Acts 16:11. Kind of interesting. Go to King James, Truth is Christ, about King James teaching about 16:11. Okay? Kind of interesting. Apparently this mountain that they sailed by, no, I haven't gone over and measured it, okay? Apparently it's 1,611 meters high, the mountain they sailed by. Then they went where? Okay, let's see now. Here's the globe. They went from Mediterranean here, okay, to Greece. Get this. Athens, Greece. They sailed here. Past an island that they used for navigation. 1,611 meters high. Go straight forward, okay? Go straight forward. The guy talks about that. What happened in London, England, 1611? They should make restitution back for using his printing press, see? It went around the world. The Spanish Armada was wiped out and what, it changed everything. But no, 1611. But I noticed something here. You go straight forward. It's called over-the-top navigation. Okay? Get the right angle. Past Iceland, Greenland, it goes over the top to Canada. Go a little bit further. What happened in 1811? Solar eclipse crossed Cairo, Illinois, nicknamed Little Egypt. They had a crop failure one time. They had crop there. Little Egypt. That's where the solar eclipse crossed. April 8th, 2024. Just happened to be 8. Okay. 8 is a number of new beginnings. Hello. Is he trying to wake us up or what? Not woke. Wake up. Okay? This is how bad. And my wife read stuff. She's not very good with English, actually. She's pretty good. She probably practiced it a little bit.
When we were born in the kingdom of God, each one of us was given a gift or gifts, and they were given with a fourfold divine purpose to equip and build up the body Messiah for the work of ministry.
For the common good. For the common good. Okay, there's prophets. Some people teach no prophets. Hey, he says he does nothing without telling his prophets. So who are these? It's a gift of the Spirit. Who's going to tend to have that more? The evangelists. But we don't want them around, do we? We're all called to evangelize, isn't it? It's a mentorship. Elijah mentored Eliza. Most of them mean to teaching position, teaching administrative position. That's pastoral. Drive around. Where's the evangelists? They're not even there. Guy Lethbridge accused me of why not being a pastor. I said, looked at him and says, you know I'm not called to be a pastor. Why do you even go there? Now, when the evangelist, like Philip, stays at a location to establish something, like he expanded upon the revelation of Jesus to the Ethiopian eunuch. That's not just prophesying off the top of your head. The guy had 50-50 chance of getting it right. He got it wrong about being a boy or a girl. Like these gurus. Expanding upon the Word of God. Zechariah chapter 5 is happening. Like, learn it. Okay? And if you stay at a location to establish an ecclesia, assembly, first assembly, a congregation, we call it a church. Catholic term is more parish, but they are taking on Protestant terms. They don't have to have a priestly collar now, and some of the clergy in Calgary, well, they don't wear the other people can wear the Catholic priesthood collar. Really? What are they doing? Hey, we're all like-minded. Let's get on the same boat. Really? The boat is sinking. Noah was preserved while the flood. Later on, they died. Taken in context with Lot, they both died. They need resurrected. That's probably in Matthew 27, 52 and 53. And Daniel probably walked all the way from Babylon. That's why maybe Pentecost is 7 weeks later from the annual Sabbath, not Sunday Sabbath or after the weekly Sabbath. Okay? Take it in context. But no, we don't even want the evangelist around. And then he turns around and says, purpose of spiritual gifts. Hey, they fulfilled Revelation. It says you will be cast out. Okay? 2.5 hours now. Have a good day. Bye-bye.